here. Paget. Paget, are you there? Are you there,
Oh,
Paget?
is she here? Is she-
Yes.
Oh, she made it. Did you just commit a crime? Is that what that was? Oh, sorry.
Paget, before we kick into this, in your background, I see a refrigerator, and I've become obsessed with refrigerators lately. Do you enjoy the French doors and the bottom drawer freezer?
I do, but one door, you have to close one door before the other, and if it'll stay open and then start beeping. So I think I do prefer now knowing one big door on top and the freezer on the bottom.
Do you like the freezer on the bottom better than the top or the side?
I hate the top.
Yeah, me too.
Why do you hate the top freezer?
Just doesn't, I don't know. I don't like it. It feels like if you have the freezer on the bottom, you're providing more coldness because cold rises.
Yeah, that's basic science.
Yeah, cold air rises. We all learned that.
You don't go, like, why would you be facing the top of the freezer as if you go in there all the time? You want it on the bottom.
That's why, look, that is the exact reason having my freezer. I have the freezer on the top, having the freezer on the bottom, or the fridge on the bottom, and like the crisper drawers, the place where you put the vegetables are the farthest from my line of sight, from my hand, and from my hunger that they can get.
But closest to your feet.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
In case I want to kick some broccoli around the apartment. You guys all play that game, right? Kick the broccoli around the apartment.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing this afternoon? I'm just kicking some broccoli around, Yeah.
You guys want to play some KTB? You guys want to play KTB back over at Gags's place?
I had that for PlayStation 1. It was really good.
Oh my gosh.
All of our topics today were submitted by you, the people of the world, the people who listen to our show week in and week out. And Paget, we're so happy to have you here to join us. You've joined us many times. Normally, you're a holiday guest. You come in for the holidays.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
But now, you get some sort of off holiday season topics.
Thank you.
And we get talking a lot with my hands, but my camera angle, it just looks like I'm shrugging a lot.
I guess we have Paget on today.
I thought we were walking through London.
This is us.
Let's go get a pint.
Big Ben.
Ooh, Parliament.
My first ever headshot, I was leaning on a column wearing a blazer over a turtleneck. And I realized when my shoulders move, I'm getting really close to this, where I look like a turtle in the shot, but also I have really big hair. So I look like
I'm picturing you in a turtleneck, a blazer, leaning on a column. Were you auditioning for the role of villain on a mount? Like you have to go visit the villain on the mount and take him down in the third act of whatever action movie this is.
I was either trying out to be a mobster's henchman or a PBS host. Either one, and I would not have worked for either one.
Hey, I'm Tony. Welcome to Happy Little Trees. So we're gonna put this one in here, right? Like, just smush it. Just smush it when you do it.
Billions and billions of stars.
Nover. Hey, honey, do you want to watch Nover?
Yeah, can't wait. I can't wait to learn about the heat death of the universe. It's inevitable. Let's jump in.
Let's talk topics. Speaking of things that are inevitable.
From Josh Coyle. This is now, we've established, Paget, that you are a costume and fashion aficionado, that you legendarily have many costumes. You have an entire, you have a legendary wardrobe, at least amongst us.
I do. Thank you.
But let's talk about pets, because Josh wants to know whether or not you should put costumes on pets. I have an answer for this, but I'm curious what I like that this gave you pause. So I want to hear your process. I don't want to just jump in here.
Okay. I have not had a pet in a long time because my husband, with whom I live, is allergic to everything. But I had a wonderful guinea pig for many, many years named Monster. And I would put a shark fin. Monster was an albino guinea pig. I would put a shark fin on Monster, and Monster would just scoot around the apartment, and I would hum the Jaws theme. So I'm all for comfortably costuming your pets. They shouldn't have like straps going up their groin. They shouldn't be uncomfortable. It should be a thoughtful dressing of pets. So I'm for it.
Did you do this roughly around Halloween time, or this was just a year round, put the shark fin on? Or did he always have the shark fin on?
Oh, no. You know, it's just when I needed a little cheering up.
That's fair. That's adorable.
It was fun.
Was he ever behind a piece of furniture or something, so all you saw was the shark fin go by?
Well, I didn't have tiny furniture.
You lived in a dollhouse, right? In the early 90s?
I guess I'm trying to think of
I had a really small couch. So you would see. No.
What furniture only gets 6 inches off the floor?
Like a futon, I guess.
I do remember years ago, Derek Waters bought the couch from Team America World Police when it went up on auction.
What? He did?
Yeah, and he had it sitting next to his full-size couch in his living room, which was a wonderful bit of weirdness. That's the beauty of Los Angeles, is just random auctions in this town will have stuff you've seen in movies that you can add to your furniture collection. So if you need a tiny couch, I'm sure that another stop motion animation movie will get made soon. I'm with you on pet costumes. I think as long as they're comfortable, great. Yeah, if you don't want like those ones where it's just like a giant thing where all you can see is their head, and then from the front it looks like a Ann Geddes kind of thing going on, and you're like, this is not comfortable for this, whatever this animal is. But the tiny capes that my neighbor used to make for his Chihuahua, that Chihuahua loved his cape because it would keep him warm, and also it made him look like a luchador. So he was into it.
We grew up with a series of dogs, and my mother loved, one of her joys in life was putting sunglasses on the dog, whichever dog, and say, like, look how good. She doesn't even mind it. Meanwhile, every dog from Pepper to Patches to Cisco and more did not want those glasses. Like every time you're like, look at Scooter, look how happy Scooter is, and you've got just a Weimaraner and a jester hat, and they're feeling the greatest shame and discomfort. Like I'm trying to think of times. I guess there are some people who have pets who actually love to be costumed. I think it's very rare. So I tend to come out against it just because I feel like the pet has no agency in how they're dressing up or how comfortable it is, or how long. Like generally you're not putting it on them all day like you did, Paget, with Monster. You put the fin on.
It wasn't on all day.
No, but you would put it on. You wouldn't put it on.
The
like,
time you put it on
picture
Monster for a year.
Just be honest.
That year
just
that
come
Monster
out with
had
it, Paget.
fin.
For one whole year, Monster wore the fin.
And tiny stilts, which she swears were totally fine.
Oh God, a guinea pig on stilts.
Well, he had to, because you don't have, what do you have, 6-inch furniture?
Yeah. You had to be able to see that fin behind the couch. Also, Monster would paint the ceiling. Get on those. Do you ever watch Painter? Man, what? I watch a lot of Discovery Plus. That's a lot of home and garden TV. Yeah, and a lot of home improvement. And every time I see somebody on those stilts painting the ceiling, I just immediately start to imagine their obituary, which is very morbid, but also it just feels like real dangerous. Like that's what ladders are for, right? Not things you walk around. You're not like a juggler at the fair.
Yeah, but think about this though. If you're going ladder, paint a spot, ladder,
ladder,
move
it,
ladder,
climb.
Yeah, no. Just stilts. You're like, suddenly I'm giant. And then after you're done, you can put on your huge pants and just walk to whatever mall is closest and go shopping and go to Home Depot and get the stuff that's on the shelf that you have to wait for the big orange thing for.
The rolling ladder that they won't let you maneuver on your own.
It's right there. I'm looking at it.
Why can't I?
Yeah. I know how a ladder moves.
No, they won't know. The liability issue. No.
It's the kind where when you step on it, it stabilizes too. It's got the rubber feet. Once you put weight on it, it stays in place. That's made for everybody to use.
So are those stilts, man. They got rubber articulated things on the bottom.
You think you could walk around on those stilts all day?
I have walked around in stilts before, but they're not the like the stilts that you think of in like a cartoon, like when Sylvester's trying to get Tweety, are just sticks with like a place where you can put your feet.
Yeah.
These are like fully articulated. Think more like Terminator legs.
Sure. And you can do that?
Yes, I could walk around on those.
But you walked on the sticks.
No. I walked on the articulated.
Oh,
kind.
for what?
Yeah.
When?
This was at Universal. They had them like, yeah, we all got to,
What were you?
Yeah.
Were you a giant?
I was in a rehearsal. This was just like, hey, you want to try these on?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. And so we all were like, oh yeah, these are kind of cool. This is fun. Thank you. That's enough for me. And then some people were like, well, I have to wear these 8 hours a day.
So you're heavily insured there. They just insure all their workers blanket.
Yeah. Blanket insurance for everything.
You never know when somebody's going to be on stilts. All right.
Yeah. I work the churro cart. You don't have to insure me for setting me on fire and dropping me into the water world set.
But you have to wear stilts when you feed those churros to giraffes.
That's true.
It's
costumes on pets get a yes.
Yeah, we can do it. But consider your pets. Consider the costume for your pets. Maybe have a talk with them. Like really figure out what they want to dress as. Unless you have one of those little, like when the pugs wear the Chewbacca outfit, that's all day, every day. And then they run towards you and it looks like Chewbacca's running around. That's all day, every day. Never take that off of your pet. Asked and answered.
And always have a camera aimed at them from the front.
Always.
All right. This one comes from Avery Krause. Hal and Paget, Ferris wheel or carousel?
Ferris wheel.
Why?
Ferris wheel.
Are you scared of heights? Because you paused.
I am. And
Me
so I take every opportunity to experience, because it's called immersion therapy. If you you do the thing that you're afraid of as much as you possibly can, you can get over it. So Ferris wheel, also carousels. It's just a creepy sound. It feels like that's where people who want to look at children go. The song never leaves your head. It's something from a horror film. Carousels in general are just creepy. Ferris wheel, you get to see the whole city.
When you're talking about carousels and murders, are you thinking of Strangers on a Train? And the end of that?
It is a scary ending.
Is that where it's from?
It's a scary carousel. That's
okay.
But
no,
there's also that image. Yeah. It feels like an image of a like psycho person.
Yeah, it's
as a carousel
horses,
goes by.
And they all their eyes are what they all look scared and angry. All of the animals on most carousels are tortured looking animals.
Do you know why?
Camels. Why? Because
they're wearing costumes. They're all in special dress. They hate it. Also, isn't it weird that you have the horses, some of which go up and down, some of which are stationary, I guess, if you get motion sick. But then there's also just like randomly a bench.
What?
Like if you like sitting in a chair, but you want to move around in a circle also. Like it just feels like we could get rid of those, right?
I don't think the bench is for the person who's necessarily gung-ho about riding it.
Maybe they're not.
I think the bench is for the adult that is with a kid who wants to ride the carousel and they're like, I'm not getting on one of those horses. I'm a sit on this
they're
bench.
too young.
Also,
then you have to do the thing where they're strapped to you and it's weird.
Yeah. And what if you could break your hip? Then you want a nice little Baroque bench.
Yeah,
that's true.
They should vary the benches though the way they vary the animals. Have a chaise for someone who wants a chaise. Right? Just lay down, going in circles, past that weird serial killer that's standing outside the thing, and every time you just see.
Yeah. And occasionally hear like, I'm gonna get you. Next time around. This has to stop eventually. The Ferris wheel is here's what I like about the Ferris wheel, and it terrifies me as well. I'm like you, I do the immersion exposure. Yeah. I'll go up a ladder, go onto a catwalk, like whatever's around. Is the moment when you're at the very top, if you get to stop at the very top and look out upon the whole fairground or the whole amusement park or the whole area, that's a pretty amazing moment, even though if you're like me, your palms are sweaty and you're holding on to the nearest handle because at any moment the door will fly open and you'll get sucked out. That's just physics.
Sucked out.
And there's also, you never know unless you're really counting how many times you've gone around, you don't know when you're going to get off. So sometimes you think it's over and it keeps going. And you have that moment of like, oh, wait, I was almost off. And that's all part of the thrill. There's more thrill to a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Even you saying when you get to the top, I've started shuddering.
Me too.
Because
my palms are wet.
The thing about the top, when they stop and you're just like squeaky, 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 and someone's getting off all the way at the bottom, and then you chunk, you're going down a little bit, and the next person gets off at the bottom.
Yes,
it's exhilarating, but it also makes me feel a little sick. It is a scary. If you have a fear of heights, it's a scary feeling.
There are also those. Are you going to mention the one at Disneyland?
Yes, I was going to talk about Mickey's Fun Wheel. Have you ever been on Mickey's Fun Wheel, Paget?
No.
Mickey's Fun Wheel is the giant Ferris wheel in Disney California Adventure, and half of the gondolas are the normal. They're attached to the outside of the wheel, but the other half are on an ovular track on casters. So when you come to a stop at certain points, the whole gondola swings like this because it has come around. Yeah. So you're just sitting there and you're, but
it's horrifying,
violently or extremely swinging. It's not violent, but it is extreme. And that is I've ridden on it several times, and every time I promise myself I'll never do it again. And then it's like I forget. It's like I'm neuralized, and then I come back and get on it.
Don't do that version. Do the other version. You can.
I never go on it.
I never do the version that like. Yeah, no, I don't need that much motion. I like to get a good, and you know me, and I love a good aerial shot. So I like to do a Ferris wheel at the beginning of a day as well, especially if you're going to like a county fair where that has a Ferris wheel. You can get the lay of the land. You know what I mean? You can look down and be like, okay, there's the collection of carnival games, and there's the fried food section, and there's the other fried food section, and then the haunted house. You know what I mean? So you can kind of see what's going on. Though there is one thing I want to point out that a carousel has that I love that a Ferris wheel does not have. And that is in the center of the carousel. Many carousels I've been on, I don't know if all of them have this. I'm sure some of them have moved to digital music, but there is that weird sort of mechanical band that's just like the way that hammers hit keys on a piano. It's hitting piano keys, but it's hitting a snare drum and a cymbal and a tambourine. And like, there's this weird sort of mechanical band happening. And I know, Paget, you said that song gets stuck in your head. Yeah, but man, is it delivered in a really cool medium, I think. I'm a big fan of the mechanical live band.
Sure.
That said, carousels are way more murdery, and Ferris wheels give you a nice view.
Yeah, Ferris wheels are the answer.
Yeah, Ferris wheels are the answer.
Oh, good.
Asked and answered.
Asked and answered.
All right, I got one from EJ Salazar. This is an interesting one. Ben Affleck or Matt Damon? Pitting two Oscar-winning childhood friends against one another. They're both in that movie that's coming up. Have either of you seen the trailer for The Last Duel?
No.
It is a medieval film in which nobody has the same hairstyle. So like some of them have like the crude bleach blonde page boy. That's what or not page boy, but like almost Caesar type of like shortcut chopped haircut. That's what Ben Affleck has. And then Matt Damon has a full-on mullet, but poorly cut. I think it's a movie about a place where nobody knows how to cut hair. And they all get turns cutting each other's hair, and it's all terrible. And then Adam Driver's there, and he just has long hair. So his hair is unremarkable.
He will only ever have long hair, I think, in everything. He loves his long hair.
He's got good long hair.
I think he loves it. Also, he was in the military for a long time, so maybe he just never wants to go back to a crew cut. He's like, I love my locks.
Yeah, he has great hair.
He does, and it works on him. The long hair works on him.
It does.
This is a terrible question.
Yeah.
Ben
Why is it terrible?
Affleck
Thanks a lot, EJ.
Because it feels like in order to defend my choice, I need to insult one of them. And I don't want to do that. I'm
just talk about the virtues then of the one that you are thinking.
Okay. Yes. I choose Matt Damon because I am a bigger fan of the Bourne Identity films than I am of Ben Affleck's choices, wise as they may have been. And as much as I have enjoyed him in other things, Matt Damon for me is, I don't know. I just, he seems like he'd be really fun to hang out with.
Mhm.
And I don't know if Ben, don't have anything nice to say. Don't say anything at all.
Let me speak in. First of all, I'm a fan of both of their work, and that can vary from film to film. Obviously, what I like about Matt Damon, particularly as a performer, is when I watch him, I can see in his eyes the logic. Each of his characters, like their thought process, is revealed to me. Like I can see the wheels turning, and so everything he says and everything he does seems really properly motivated. Like you could draw a line that traces every choice that character makes, and it makes perfect sense. And that's something I've always sort of locked onto with him.
Wow.
I think he's a spectacular actor.
He is.
Yeah. We had a joke on set that we would talk about a movie, and like anytime a bad performance was mentioned in a movie, a buddy of mine would always go, should have sprung for Matt Damon, just as like he is, because he's so good. I remember when I was a kid, or not kid, when I was in high school, he was just starting to come into his own, and he had just made he was making Courage Under Fire, or had made Courage Under Fire, which he's brilliant in, playing a soldier who's a heroin addict. Like he's great and intense in that. But the reason that I came into knowledge of him is he was doing a Grisham movie, I think, or some movie, The Rainmaker, yeah, where he was playing a person from East Tennessee. So he came to Knoxville and got a job working in a bar to learn a Tennessee accent for like a month. And while he did it, he went to my buddy's school, not to mine. He went to my buddy's school and did like a, hey, I'm an actor, and went and talked to their drama club just about the process of acting. So I've always kind of had a soft spot for that guy and that weird Knoxville connection. Not that I don't think Ben Affleck is great. Ben Affleck is steely in things, and it's kind of magical mystery that you don't know his thought process in a scene. But watching Matt Damon's gears turn as an actor, I think, is a delightful treat.
I think Ben Affleck is a victim of the tabloid culture built around him.
Yeah.
So all of his choices outside of artistic work affect how people feel about his artistic work. And he has movies that are, look, I enjoyed Reindeer Games. I didn't enjoy Payback, but the guy made Argo, which is a really good movie.
Argo's fantastic.
He's a really talented filmmaker and a smart producer as well. And I really liked The Way Back. I thought that was a really good movie. Like he's better than people give him credit for. I think Matt Damon became the bigger star, or maybe he's the more seriously considered actor, and Ben Affleck had a different kind of fame. And obviously his struggles have become so famous that you think about, though, it's hard to think about. We don't really know a lot about Matt Damon. We hear great stories about him being a good guy. We know, I think that his mom was a teacher, and that's really important to him. But like Ben Affleck's been sort of laid out and roasted in front of us. I liked his Batman, and I did not like the movies that Batman was in, but he was really, really good. He was a good, he's sort of it seems to be a habitual victim of circumstance.
But it is tabloid driven. And you know what? I have to admit that my impressions of him are tabloid driven. I am a victim of thinking he's a certain way because of rehab or a failed marriage or J-Lo or, and that's my fault for even letting 1% of that stuff seep into my head and make me think, oh, I'd rather hang out with Matt Damon. I don't know. We don't know. But I'm basing that, although now with this Knoxville story, I'm sticking with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I prefer Matt, but I have nothing bad to say about Ben Affleck. Nothing.
Yeah. They both have a great sense of humor about themselves, which I think is great. Matt Damon with all this Jimmy Kimmel stuff, and Ben Affleck, like when he went on, I don't remember which talk show he went on, and just he had printed up a bunch of the terrible reviews for Gigli and just sat there reading them aloud. And these guys know who they are and they are comfortable in their own skin. I think the edge on this one goes to Matt Damon, at least for me, because of the Knoxville story. But it sounds like you guys both also hate Ben Affleck.
No,
I'm kidding.
I think for overall body of work, not only does Matt Damon have the Bourne films, but he also has Saving Private Ryan under his belt. He's got the Ocean's movies. So he's just I think you gotta go. I think you gotta go with Matt Damon on this, but it's close. It's a lot closer than anybody thinks it is. It could have easily gone either way. And I think it's gonna be exciting to see what both of them do after The Last Duel, when I no longer have to look at those haircuts on the screen. Like, really look it up. Everybody look up The Last Duel trailer after this. Please don't do it right now. You will get pulled into a vortex.
Yeah. And then you'll stop paying attention to our wonderful, wonderful show. So don't do that right now. Or just do it up and just bring a still. Then just have a still up in the corner of your screen.
I mean, you won't believe what's going on. They don't even look like they're in the same movie with one another.
Wow.
Asked and answered, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Heather Mbai asks, subway or bus?
The Tube.
The Tube. Hello, London. The Tube or the bus? Now this is it's an interesting question for the London Podcast Festival, because it's a very different thing in New York to be on the bus or the subway than in London to be on the Tube or a red double-decker bus, which is amazing. Those are fun.
What are we answering? Are we answering American experiences with subway bus?
I think we have to take it all into account. The question from Heather, who, by the way, hi, Heather. Sorry we missed you at Dragon Con this year.
Yes. Hello,
is just says subway or bus. So we've got a lot to take in.
I'm gonna answer for both England and America. I prefer the bus.
Yeah,
really?
Why do you prefer the bus?
Why is
that? I lived in New York for a while, and I was like grabbed and thrown into a payphone in a subway, and spent. I didn't take the subway after that. Then I only took buses in New York after that happened, because I was afraid. And if you're, I was a young lady. I mean, I was 20, young, and I didn't take the subway again after that, because it was a scary time. And I was mugged in Paris on the metro. Yeah. So I prefer a bus. I don't like subways. I mean, I shot a scene on the subway in LA. I wouldn't go down there. I wouldn't take that thing. Yeah. I'd rather be on a bus in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Especially the London buses are beautiful, and you can do that, thing around Piccadilly Circus, and just buses are more. You get to see more people. There's air. I don't know. There's something scary and violent about subterranean travel. That's just me.
No, that's a great point to make, though, because we are. I can't speak for Hal, but I can speak for myself. I took the subway all the time in New York. Take the subway all the time when I go to New York at 3 a.m. by myself. I don't have that.
You have that privilege.
I have the privilege of not being nervous by that.
Yeah.
So that my view of it is colored by that. I think that the subway goes more places more conveniently and doesn't have to worry about traffic.
And faster. It's faster.
But I do think in the same way that we did an episode once about sitting in a window seat or an aisle seat. I feel like one is more convenient, but the other one you're actually seeing the world. Like there's that bus in Paris that basically its route just is a greatest hits. There's one of these in DC too. It's like the bus route is the greatest hits of monuments. So there's your $3 tour of the whole city. I will say though, there are some what's the word I would use? Not bleak. There are some long moments on a city bus riding through New York City, because you don't have the benefit of there's no traffic. It's going stop to stop to stop to stop. I know it's going to take 16 minutes to get from Times Square to the Brooklyn Bridge. Right. If I'm on a bus, could be 16 minutes, could be all day. You know what I mean?
And you can't move to another car if there's a problem.
There's danger, yeah.
Or odor. There are a lot of odors on a bus. And you can't, walk through the doors to get to another car.
Yeah.
You're on that, but or you get off the bus, now you're waiting for another bus. And that's like the Price is Right between bad showcases. You don't know what's on the next bus. So, I mean, I understand the value of the subway system.
Sure. As a means of transport, it's way more efficient.
More efficient. Yeah.
I do feel like I'm expecting scary moments to happen on a bus that wind up happening on a subway. You're very rarely on a bus and somebody gets up and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you right now, I'm out of money, but I'm going to talk to you about it very loudly and either perform something or keep talking. So you give me cash." That is a unique subway. That is on your bingo card for New York. One time, Jennifer and I were waiting. She's in the other room right now watching this, so maybe I'll hear her say yes. We were sitting waiting to get on a subway train, and there was somebody close to us who took their shoe off and just started slapping it against the wall violently, but like with a rhythm to the point where I don't know what's going on. They're not
was
trying
it
to
a
get
stomp
something
flash mob?
It was a one-person stomp flash mob that was later performing in a jail, I'm sure.
Sure.
It's weird. Like, do you take something that will get you there in 16 minutes, but could be more dangerous versus plotting out the day?
The agony of a 50-minute bus ride to the same location.
Let me ask you guys this, because Hal, you brought up Showtime.
Yes.
Do you view Showtime as a positive thing or a negative thing? Because I love buskers. I would say that there's a benefit to buskers in a subway station. Like Too Many Zoos playing in Union Station in New York led me to listening to that band on Spotify and enjoying them. I love when a couple of people get on a subway train, start playing that boombox, and then are flipping around on the rails in the subway car. I love Showtime. I think that is a huge
Depends on the
benefit.
show. It depends on the show.
There are some lazy
I'd love
Showtimes.
to see that. I never saw that.
You never saw a Showtime?
No, it was a lot of walking with the hat, or and people didn't like. There would be buskers in the subway station, like a lot of beautiful. And it sounds, if someone's playing a horn, a woodwind, it sounds great.
Oh yeah,
it sounds so great down there, and there is something kind of futuristic about it too. I mean, I see advantages to both, and I don't want to. I by my choosing bus and saying it's because I'm female and I was assaulted. I don't want you guys to feel like you have to change, or because your experiences are different. And if you prefer the subway, I want you to say you prefer the subway, because I see the value of the subway. And also, let's face it, I don't take the bus now. I have a car. I don't take the bus or the subway anywhere. So these are old. This is an old choice, pretty much based on New York City in the 90s.
Which probably had a pretty scary subway system.
It really was.
I'm not being
maybe
glib.
It's magical now. So I'm making my choice for 1992 Lil Paget B in New York City, who lived in Brooklyn with Monster at that time. That's why I needed cheering up.
Little Monster. Did you take him on the subway with you, and people were like, shark?
That'll get people away. There's a woman with a shark.
Yeah. I think that there's precedent on this show for a unique experience trumping a more convenient one. Meaning, in this instance, much like window and aisle on a plane, I would tend to say that in my own city, yes, I would prefer to take the subway. I take the subway in LA sometimes if I'm going downtown and don't feel like looking for parking. I can just park at one of the subway stations up here and take the train in. It's super convenient and I enjoy it. But that is in my own city as a utilitarian thing. I think there's a specialness especially in London, and this is the London Podcasting Festival, I think there's a specialness to going to a city that you don't know and hopping on their public transportation system and the above ground public transportation system and just seeing what it feels like to be in that world. So I am fully in support of and on board for specifically in this case, the red double-decker London bus that is over my shoulder in our postcard for this very show you are watching right now. Hal, what do you think?
I have been on the subway in New York. I've been in train systems all over the L in Chicago, which is not necessarily a subway, but Philadelphia had a little bit of a subway, like some underground areas. I've been on the metro. I've been on the tube. And the one thing going to London, the many times I've been to London that I've never done is go on a double-decker bus. And I feel like I've missed out every single time because I desperately want to have that experience because I think that they're really cool vehicles.
They're super fun.
And I want to sit on the roof of one. I want to sit on the roof of a car while it's going. And I want to see everything around me. So I'm going to go bus. I'm going to join in with both of you. It may not be the most efficient, but I want that double-decker bus.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, London.
Also,
2025.
We never mentioned this. Also, never mentioned that we're specifically talking about municipal buses. Some of my most excited I have ever been in my life has been on the bus on the way to a field trip when I was a kid. That's a bus. Come on.
Oh, but but you didn't have school access to a subway, did you?
Yeah, we had our school subway. It was a whole system that only went to our field trip locations. It just went from Sacred Heart Cathedral and Elementary School to the Knoxville Museum of Art, and then to the Oak Ridge Science and Industry Museum.
Is that really where you went? Sacred Heart Cathedral and Elementary School?
It was. We were called Sacred until I was in like the 6th grade, and then SHS. The church in this Catholic school became the cathedral for the city. So then we became SHCS, which is way harder to chant at a basketball game, especially in the first year of doing a bunch of kids like SHCS. So it was not as fun anymore. I liked S, but it was a great school. And shout out to Sacred Heart. It's the bus.
It's the bus.
All right, Hal, you're up. What do you got?
Okay, I got one from Stephen Podrasky. Let's talk about food. We haven't really talked a lot about food.
You're an avid cook.
Yes, you're a cook. We all three of us.
We
cook,
all are cook. All of us cook a lot. All of us. We've all shared recipes. I still haven't done your matzo ball recipe yet, though, Hal. I have the box of matzo ball soup, and I have the whole onion. I have the recipe. I haven't done it yet. Sorry.
I have a file called Paget Recipes. That's amazing. There's fun stuff in there.
You'll be thrilled when you make it.
Yeah.
Should you use butter or oil? This isn't a general. I mean, obviously it's not. I mean, it could be used for bread as well. You spread butter on bread. You also dip it in an olive oil. But for cooking,
it depends on what you're cooking.
It does depend on what you're cooking.
Yeah, but that's not the question.
Which has more application. Because it does depend.
Which has more application would be oil. But then what kind of oil? Peanut, canola, olive, vegetable, lang yu, sesame, what
can you go back one?
Lang yu.
What is lang yu oil?
The hot chili oil.
Oh yes.
Are you looking
is it the one that has the crispy stuff?
I know where it is in the kitchen.
Is that the kind that has the little?
Its little hand.
Hello.
I'm over here. It's got the orange top. Boink boink. Couple of red dots. But butter, I wouldn't cook a steak. Don't cook a steak in a cast iron pan unless you're using butter and a little bit of olive oil. Don't even make it. Make that a tartare. If you don't use butter for your steak, you just that cow died in vain.
Sure, because you have to baste it.
Yes.
You have to baste it. I use avocado oil. That's what I've gotten into lately because there's a really high smoke point. I'll coat do it in that. And I'll put some ghee into the pan and then do that. Sometimes some minced butter.
Ghee feels like the secret weapon that's halfway between both of these.
But yeah.
It's like, hey, you want oil that tastes like butter? Like ghee could be the secret weapon here. I never buttered a steak before. I've only ever just I'll dry rub herbs on them and spices and stuff, and then just go onto the grill.
In the pan?
Or I'll do it in a either a cast iron pan or like I usually just do it on a Foreman grill.
Oh, that's smart.
Oh,
You guys are making very healthy choices. The Foreman grill and the ghee. I feel like I should shut up about the butter.
No,
you're right though, because I'm doing it. When I'm on an eating program where I'm not eating dairy 6 days a week, then ghee allows me to. Ghee is like the butter that's okay. That's what they should call it. We're ghee, the butter that's okay. But you have to. Yeah, I do it in a pan, ripping hot pan, oil. What I'll do is I'll give you the full. I want to hear yours as well. I'll do the steak. I'll let it sit. I'll season it definitely with plenty of salt and pepper. I'll let it rest out on the countertop for a half an hour to come to room temperature. The salt's drawing out moisture to the surface. Then in the pan with avocado oil, I do a chopped onion and I saute it, and that gets seasoned. Then I move that to the side, more oil. Then comes the steak. Oh, and I do it like maybe 4 minutes on each side.
Yeah,
and you can throw in some ghee and then baste it. So then the onions, all the flavors are together, and then you plate that after about 8 minutes. So 4 minutes on each side, you get a good crust, and then it can finish cooking on the plate. You let it rest for like 5 minutes.
And that sounds great. The onion, I haven't done the onion. Boy, you know your way around an onion. You would choose onion over butter and oil.
Yeah.
You know what to do with an onion.
Yeah,
I do. I love an onion. Now, how do you cook a steak? What's your...
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I thought I already said it. It's butter and a little bit of olive oil so the butter won't burn.
Yeah.
And then room temperature steak that's had salt and pepper already, both sides. That sat out I'll leave it out for 30, 40 minutes. Yep. Then, and I put a wire thing over it because I don't know. Do you guys get flies? I don't have the screens on my windows, so I have to cover it. But then 4 minutes on each side, obviously depending on thickness. Right. Based. Sometimes rosemary if I go out back and I snip some. Otherwise, just a salt and pepper. So I'm going to do your onion trick and then let it rest 10 minutes. And then sometimes if I didn't salt and pepper it enough, I then just put the Montreal steak seasoning on top after 10 minutes.
At the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Okay.
Instead of cooking with it. I don't know. It's called Montreal steak. Yeah. What's Joe Beef?
Joe Beef's it's the Montreal steak seasoning from that restaurant in Montreal. It's the Montreal steak seasoning. I do it, but I do that first. So that's what I'll rub on it on the outside first. And then now I'm thinking about it. I usually don't use butter. I do a little bit of oil specifically because of the smoke point. And I'll just do a tiny little bit in a cast iron, get it really hot. Sear it on both sides and throw it in the oven for like 10 minutes.
Oh, you do that trick. I never do that.
It goes just for speed's sake. But again, we are much like Subway or bus. All this says is oil or butter. Oil definitely wins for the utilitarian.
Correct. If you had to choose, you can have all oil or butter.
You have to choose. You have to choose oil. Every time. Counterpoint: if you have ever had that sweet, sweet golden wrapper, got to get the golden wrapper. Kerrygold butter. I could eat that thing I could eat that butter with a spoon.
Yeah,
it is the greatest thing on earth, and I prefer that on bread to dipping it in olive oil. Italian, like a bad Italian.
For sure. For sure, it's better. Butter, like bread, is a spoon for butter.
Yeah,
to get it.
Is the flavor magic that is butter? Does the flavor magic that is butter defeat the utilitarianness of oil? I don't know that it does, because you can't have deep fried food. Yeah, we have to go oil.
Yeah,
oil for sure.
Also, vegetable, just any vegetables, with a little bit of vegetable oil and some salt and pepper. That's all I want. I don't want to cook them. I want to eat them like that. I love it.
Raw?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
I mean, cauliflower or broccoli, zucchini.
I don't mean like it's raw fish, but like you will not cook it.
You'll eat vegetables raw?
I prefer.
What are you, a veggie sushist?
I do prefer. I feel like vegetables lose their tenacity when they get cooked. Maybe
they soften up.
They soften up.
I feel
like this asparagus
is gone soft.
Like
I'm sick of all these
rigid.
soft
Yeah.
vegetables
Yeah.
raised in a
I
pan.
like to cook vegetables, but I have just discovered that just vegetable oil, salt, and pepper. I just love it. I love
Vegetable
it.
oil is an interesting
Radishes,
choice because I don't know that I would use vegetable oil just to dress something. Is it a specific are you using
Nope.
like grapeseed or like straight up
Nope.
just vegetable oil?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
Wesson on a broccoli.
yeah, I'm looking
All
at it right now. But
right.
what
Is it over there with the
olive
chili?
oil-
You're looking at that chili oil. Which
Yeah.
I feel like the oils are like.
They're
Which one of-
famous today.
Which one of us is she talking to?
But would you use an olive oil for that? Because that to me is too heavy. I want the lightest oil I can get on
Yeah.
cauliflower, broccoli, zucchini, squash, like vegetables that you want to eat, radishes,
Yeah.
tomatoes, little tiny tomatoes. Oh,
I kind of split the difference. I kind of split the difference and I'll do grapeseed oil because it's got a little bit of flavor like olive oil. But it has that, it's a little, feels a little bit lighter, cleaner.
I'll try that because I have grapeseed oil and I can't remember what recipe I got it for.
Grapeseed oil is my favorite. I use it for everything.
I don't think I've used it yet. Oh, great.
It's the one. It's the one that I have like the little bottle of olive oil and then the big bottle of grapeseed oil.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Yes, my jam. It's like olive oil with a high flash point. I love it.
Yeah. So it's oil.
But the winner is oil. All right.
It's oil. Yeah.
Mark,
all right.
what do you have for us?
I'm going to go with. All right. This is so simple, but this is our first non-binary of the thing. We've all done this or that, this or that, this or that. We're going straight into what is the best on this one.
Okay.
And I'm going to go. Teresa Richards asks, what is the best type of chair? Yeah, it feels like a huge topic all of a sudden, doesn't it?
It's not beanbag.
No, it's definitely not
No.
beanbag.
Or
Well, let's eliminate some. It's definitely
that
not beanbag.
1970s red plastic hand chair.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
not that.
No.
It's not a folding chair where the plastic on the back is too narrow.
It's not a folding chair, period.
No folding chairs.
No, it's not. I think it's
no
gonna be a
folding
folding
chair.
chair.
No shaker, like that
Yes.
hard seat shaker back. They're pretty, but no, bad
I
chair.
was going to say that. Yeah.
Shaker back. Oh, like the
the
sect
spindle
that makes
back.
them?
Yeah, the shakers.
Mhm.
Stickly furniture. You know what I'm thinking? It's wooden, and they have the tiny rods, vertical. So that's never comfortable. Neither is horizontal. Any kind of slatted wooden back. Like you get a nice woven leather. Now you're doing better, but wooden, not for you can't sit for a long time. And I'm guessing sitting for a long time is the goal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, McDonald's, Mark. We're not trying to get turnover here.
The thing is, though, I don't
about?
necessarily like a sitting for a long time chair. I like because then I get sucked into that. You know what I mean? Like if I had a big, comfy, like sink you down in recliner, I would just watch TV all day.
Great.
What the hell have you been doing the last 18 months? I don't understand.
What do you want to? How about that chair, but it administers an electric shock to you every 30 minutes? Is that good?
Yeah. I know, but I don't like the feeling of I don't want to get up. I don't like that feeling.
Why?
I don't get you at all.
What are you
maybe
talking
I'm
about?
a weirdo.
Yes.
I do have an ex that once said, like, you have no idea how to relax, do you? And I said, no, I don't.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So your ideal chair would be just uncomfortable enough for you to have to get out of it every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a stinky chair.
Yeah, that's a terrible chair.
I don't like that chair.
I would throw that chair.
Take my weirdness aside. Let's continue on our what we don't want as we narrow this road down to.
I actually have 3 finalists in my
head. You do?
Jeez.
Yeah. 3 You beat us on this one.
Go.
I have one. All right. Number 1, rocking chair.
I was gonna say that. Huge fan.
Because it's nice. You got even if it's not the most comfortable to be sitting stationary in, you have the motion, and generally there's some angle in there that's really comfortable.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 2.
And let's be honest though about the rocking chair. People also generally take chairs that aren't rocking chairs and try to make them that by just leaning back on 2. Don't do that. You're going to break your chair or your butt. Get a rocking
real
chair.
bad.
Also, rocking chair means that your table is almost ready at Cracker Barrel, which is always nice. Right?
I love Cracker Barrel.
That row of rocking chairs out front. It's the greatest place in the world.
I love it.
I know.
The smelly blankets inside you can buy.
Oh, they're so
the world's
good.
largest Kit Kat. It's all waiting for you in there.
All right,
I
what's your
went
number
to
two?
the first Cracker Barrel. I've never been to a Cracker Barrel until a month ago. And I
really?
love how they design, hanging up pitchforks and signs and old-timey photos. And I feel like that's my home decoration is like proto Cracker Barrel.
Paget, will you reach out to the people at Cracker Barrel and see if you can ever someday visit the warehouse? Because what they do is I saw a doc about this once. They scour the world or mostly America for this like vintage turn of the century Americana.
Yeah.
And they have a giant warehouse that whenever they open a new Cracker Barrel, the management team and the franchise owner or whoever it is, they get to go and just like pick what they want out of this crazy warehouse of pitchforks and wagon wheels.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because I wasn't sure if they were making replicas or if they had, like, real. I started salivating when you said there's a warehouse full of that stuff, because that is so exciting to me. But I didn't mean to take us off track. I love Cracker Barrel. I love how they decorate. I want to go to that warehouse. Chair number 2 option.
Hold on. One more Cracker Barrel story. Jennifer and I, one of the last trips that we took together was to Nashville, Tennessee for a wedding. And then it was our anniversary around the same time. So we stayed there. The night of our anniversary, we were at the hotel figuring out, we could go to Bluebird Cafe. We could go here. We could go there. Had been touring for a while. And then we decided to get takeout from the Cracker Barrel that was down the road. And I went and picked up Cracker Barrel and we ate it in our hotel room. That was our anniversary dinner. And guess what?
Amazing.
We both loved it.
Yeah. Did they put something from the warehouse into your things to like just hang this on the wall?
Yeah.
Here's a little.
We just excavated the Gettysburg battlefield, so we've got tons of great stuff.
Yeah.
You want a leg?
Here's some bullets and a swatch of gingham.
Yeah. All right. Number 1, rocking chair. Yeah. Okay. Number 2, the cousin to the rocking chair, which is the gliding chair that generally a newborn's parents will have in their room to sort of hold them. So it's a gliding sort of thing, and they're always really soft and comfortable.
Where there's there's legs that hold it to the ground, but like a suspended part.
Yes, so you're like gliding,
swinging.
Do they make those for adults? I don't have any babies. I don't know what you're talking about.
You sit in them as an adult with your baby. I feel like this has been made for parents only, but I would like to normalize all of us having these, because it's such a pleasant motion to sit in one of those chairs and glide. But the number 1 is the lounger chair. Is the chair where is the full recliner or Barker
lazy
lounger,
boy, like a lazy boy.
Yes. I will say, I just want to throw out a quick side note. I'm assuming we're leaving mobility issues off of this, because like obviously for a lot of people, the wheelchair is the most important chair. This is specifically for leisure and sitting and
correct.
Yeah. This is something for everybody.
This is just side note on that.
And here's what's great about loungers is for people with accessibility issues. There are loungers that will help you stand up and that will help to transfer you either into or out of the chair.
Yeah. A chair that stands you up.
I know, Mark, you wish it was just a broomstick that you sat on, but I think it's a recliner.
Yep. I choose recliner. That's all.
I love recliner. I love recliner. I also love rocking chairs so much. It's not that weird baby chair.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know about your baby chair.
I know my truth.
I think it's the lazy boy. I don't want to go brand specific. The recliner.
We don't all have to agree, right?
Yeah, we absolutely do.
We do that.
The whole point of this is we are answering these objectively
for everybody.
We're the Supreme Court here.
Hold on, but we all.
I'm not going to write a dissent.
Or we can't move on to another topic. We stay in this.
You've been on this show like 9 times.
I thought disagreed a bunch of times. I didn't know we all had to be.
No,
we've disagreed.
I have them circled, the ones that objectively are winning these.
I really thought that we didn't always agree.
No, we do.
We do. We always get to a point of agreement. Don't worry.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You guys have ganged up on me and beaten me into liking Spider-Man more or something. Yeah. It's happened. Okay.
When did we ever?
I forgot. Okay.
Roll the tape back.
I forgot.
Let's go to a clip.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, okay. All right. I think it is Lazy Boy. I feel like Mark is capitulating.
I am capitulating, but I'm capitulating because I realize that I am an anomaly in this regard. I got like when I went to buy the chair for my desk that I'm currently sitting in, I went and I got a chair that was just comfortable enough.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of chair is it?
Do you want to see the chair?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is the chair I got. I'm not standing up
swivels?
entirely because I'm wearing sweatpants. No.
Does it swivel? Oh, well, that's a very attractive chair.
It's got a little butt pad on it, but that's the chair.
I hate that for an office chair. Throw that out.
Oh,
it has no arms.
Yeah. I don't need arms on an office chair because my arms are always on the desk doing stuff.
No, I have arms. You can't see mine. I'm not going to show.
Yours looks like a robot. Hal's got like a robot chair that's got
it's a gaming chair. It's like comfortable. I knew I was going to be sitting at home for a very long time.
16 months, it turns out.
Yeah, and counting.
It's 18 now.
You're
guys,
counting.
It's 18 months now.
Is it 18
now? Yeah.
March to March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 12, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm not good at math. Look at
Hal,
that.
do you have another topic for us?
I do. I'm gonna steal one of yours because I feel like this is gonna be a fun one. This is from Leslie Troutman. When you're going to a Renaissance fair, as we all do, you wear a costume or do you go plain clothes as a tourist? Have you been to a Renaissance fair before? Ooh. I don't know how big Renaissance fairs are in England. I feel like it just is history there.
Yeah.
And then in America, we're like, could you imagine jousting? Yeah. And then everybody dresses up and there are a bunch of improvisers and they will spend an entire season living on the fairgrounds and housing on the fairgrounds. And they will perform and improvise. And some of them are singers and some of them are trained in stage combat. And it is a great experience. And they're huge smoked turkey legs, which is the only reason I will go anywhere anymore.
Well, they also have pork chop on a stick. And one time I made the mistake of getting oysters in little tiny plastic cups.
What?
Why was that a mistake?
Who eats oysters at a Ren fair in Santa Clarita? It's in the middle of the desert. I mean, and it was like hot phlegm in a little tiny plastic cup. And it was, I shouldn't have done it. But my answer to this, and this, I think we're going to disagree and we're just going to have to see what happens. My answer to this is I always dress up, but I appreciate that most men are wearing a Metallica t-shirt and skinny black jeans and sneakers. I don't need to see all the men dressed up. I like that all the ladies are dressed up.
Yeah.
Cleavage, those shelf wench outfits. I love it.
Love the corset.
I love it. And there's always guys dressed up, but it's more women dress up than men.
I'm all for the dressing up. I have not done it because I simply don't have the depth of closet for a leather doublet and a codpiece. But I would absolutely wear a leather doublet and a codpiece because it's if you are going there with the idea of playing pretend, all right. If you're going there with the idea of playing pretend, like go play pretend. You know what I mean?
Wow, what a way to boil it down. Go play pretend. You want to go play pretend?
But no,
you want to be a barbarian.
I had an acting teacher. Acting teacher once who said he came in one day, David Avcali, God rest his soul. He came in one day and he said his little grandson, he said, I have to go to work. And his grandson said, you don't go to work, you go to play, which I thought was, his kid was like 3 or 4 years old. And I thought, yeah, it is. We are actors. That is our job. That is the job of these people putting on a realistic and immersive Renaissance fair. But at the end of the day, the job is let's all go play pretend and have a good time doing it. And I think that's a great part of the playing pretend.
Al?
I agree. Yeah, I love Ren fairs. I have great admiration for everybody who dresses up. I've historically never been a costume person. Like I'm just uncomfortable putting them together, and that's more my issues than anybody else's, because when I see people like really commit and come in all dressed up, I think it's great at any level of quality, just because that is somebody purely expressing their joy and their love for something. So absolutely you should wear it, because I feel like the question here is not what should everybody wear. It feels like the question is, if you like to dress up in costume, is it okay to do that because all the people who are hired to do that are doing the same, or are you supposed to just be a tourist and then you fall into like are you from some time traveling?
That's what I'm curious about this question, because I will say, having always dressed up for a Renaissance fair, and I'm sure gotten my sartorial choices are not period specific or proper. I'm sure I'm wearing a Georgian dress with I make my own headpieces, and you know what I mean? Or you fashion together something you got on Amazon with something else. And I'm sure I'm not doing the period justice. So then should I not be dressing up? Should I be a tourist because I don't take it as seriously as the people who take it so seriously and care enough to invest all of that time and attention to history and detail? Is my dressing up an insult to the people who take it more seriously? Do they look down on me? I've been insecure about it. And I feel like I just want to go and have fun. But there is something a little unnerving about playing on their court, because there are people who take it so seriously that maybe I should not dress up if I'm not doing it correctly. Does that make sense?
It's probably a spectrum of that. And I think the people that are on the insulted by your not being correct, I think there are way fewer people on that end. And I think the vast majority of people, I would guess, are on the, hey, we're all here to have a good time. Like, if you're going to a Ren fair and you don't have the mentality of, hey, we're all here to have a good time, you're not going to have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you probably shouldn't go. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Right. I think go ahead.
I was going to say, unless you are paid to play the role of the gatekeeper at some portcullis, that anybody who is gatekeeping, especially at a Ren fair, which is like, has been considered probably a fringe activity in the past. I think it's a little bit more mainstream now. I mean, that's not somebody that you don't need to satisfy people who are going to judge everything you're doing at a Ren fair. The majority of people there, that's an open and creative, and like, we're all there because we love being here, except for the people who are dragged along, and they're hilarious to watch because they're so uncomfortable. But like, if you whatever you have that you can dress up in it. And bonus points for me if you dress up as the crew of the Enterprise who have traveled back in time on some mission.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
For everything.
I love it. I also, it's so, Ren fairs seem to be the most accepting atmosphere. I mean, Comic-Con can be that way, but I really, going to Ren fair starting 13 years ago, and seeing every age, race, religion, time period. There are a bunch of steampunkers, and there were people dressed up as Starship Enterprise, and just it seemed, and so many people with disabilities or in wheelchairs, and it's all wheelchair friendly. Like, it felt so advanced. It felt like the original idea of Star Trek, like of everyone, it has value and importance, and we all should just be here enjoying it. I didn't feel like I was judged by anyone, but I was asking a question specifically about the idea of the costume or tourist. But I love Ren fairs because they feel like just the most accepting, incredible spectrum of people, and people having a good time. Just don't eat the oysters.
Especially because they serve it with whole milk as a drink. Mark, we have one more. So wear your costumes, wear them happily, have a good time, asked and answered. And if your costume is a Metallica t-shirt and tight black jeans, wear that too.
I love them.
Because then I can see you later on gothsandhotweather.com, One of my favorite websites.
Is that a real website?
It is. What? It is of goths in hot weather, and it is judged by the gothiness of the subject or the how sweaty they look. Because it's not like, that's like bodices and pure black and black parasols and hats. It's a lot to wear in hot weather, but you
skinny jeans.
Yeah, you just admire the dedication, but also it's real hot. It's real hot and sweaty.
All right, we have time for one more topic. I'm reluctant I think I'm gonna have to do a bit of an audible on this closer topic because we don't have a ton of time left.
Yes.
And this feels like a bigger topic, but this is a Paget specific topic.
Yes.
Because this is just from chatting with you, and I know how into this world you are. Let's talk about the dames. Because the topic was originally best dame. Do you think we can get through best dame in less than 10 minutes?
I do.
Okay, then let's do it.
Really?
Let's go over the dames. Who are the dames that you think are the contenders for? And we're talking the British, equivalent. I don't know what it would be called.
Order of the British Empire.
Honorific Order of British Empire.
The BDE.
Yeah.
Yes.
BDE.
So
yes.
You
technically
are
knighted.
Yeah.
But as a
women
lady,
who have been knighted. Yeah.
Dame. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to name some names.
Okay.
You want to name them?
I can rattle off a couple, and I'm going to miss some of the big ones, I think. But the first ones that pop into mind are Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, Julie Andrews, Helen Mirren. Who else? And now I feel like I'm being quizzed.
Dame Edna.
Dame Edna. You can't forget Dame Edna, of course.
The great Dame Edna.
Eileen Atkins, Joan Plowright.
Yes.
I think Annie Lennox may have been damed at this point. You named a lot of them. You did a really good job.
I think we got a pretty good start to the dames. Who do you gravitate
My favorite's in there. My favorite's in there. So I can answer. I can answer right away.
You can answer. You have
it's tough, though. Okay, there are two. Yeah. Okay, there are 5 that are. No, there's
6, 7.
Okay,
there's like 10.
Wait, I need to think. You guys, who are your?
Judi Dench is the one that immediately pops to mind as, I think, just the most incredible performer. She has been doing it her entire life. Her Shakespeare work when she was a teenager is as brilliant as her non-Shakespeare work in Bond movies is now, and somehow they have the same gravitas to them. I think she is an absolute, not just a national treasure for the people of the UK. I think she's a global treasure. Yeah, she's the one that immediately jumps to mind as the coolest and the winner in my head. Yeah,
I will throw my hat in the ring for Dame Maggie Smith. Maybe this is because we are rewatching Downton Abbey for the 4 millionth time in this household, which I am all on board for. But I think she has she's just, there's something about her. There's an air about her that is part of the roles that she's playing that makes me feel like I would love to spend time and have a conversation with her. Which I would with Judi Dench as well, but also her characters are so she plays a specific type so well, and it's not the only type she can play, but she's just, there's something about her, and the Dowager Countess in particular is like the role of a lifetime, and I can't imagine any other human being on earth being able to play it the way that she did.
Oh, go ahead.
Does her gravitas, the gravitas of a Maggie Smith that might preclude her from doing something like robbing a bank in a movie, give an edge to someone like Helen Mirren, who is a dame, but not so much of thought of, I guess, at least, and this is probably driving a lot of the London people nuts because these are such American viewpoints on their national treasures. As sort of stoic as Maggie Smith seems, like, I don't know, I love Maggie Smith. I think she has this brilliant gravitas. I think I might rather go joyriding in a Ferrari with Helen Mirren. And Judi Dench feels like where those two Venn diagrams cross.
Okay, but hold on a second, because my vote is in for Dame Maggie Smith, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Evil Under the Sun, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. What was the movie called? Lady in a Van. She was a homeless woman living in a van outside of this guy's flat, his house in London. She also, and I love Judi Dench and I love Helen Mirren, but I think for me, not just the Dowager Countess, she's gritty, and it would be terrifying to hang out near Maggie Smith. You'd just be scared that she would kick you out of the room. I think we can all agree. But she seems exceptionally witty. She is capable of high comedy, manic, excited. She can speak really quickly, really fast. She's the only person I can think of. I was on a show called Another Period for 3 seasons, and all I did was mimic Dame Maggie Smith. So I've ripped her off for years in a really enjoyable job. And so I have to go with Maggie Smith. She also feels older. She feels like a prehistoric shark compared to Judi Dench and Helen Mirren.
He was 100 in Sister Act in the 90s.
Yeah.
She is a force. And I think she also, with the Harry Potter films as McGonagall, I feel like to Americans, I feel like she is the image of a dame more than all of these other fabulous artists. To me, she feels like she would be in the dictionary to us, maybe not to people in Great Britain, but I think to Americans, Dame Maggie Smith. Because you don't necessarily immediately say Dame Judi Dench and Dame Helen Mirren, but Dame Maggie Smith, I feel like she would smack you if you didn't use the Dame. And so,
or just slow burn you.
Slow burn, which would hurt.
Yeah. Just a Maggie Smith, that would hurt so much more than getting slapped.
Just a withering look and then a look away like you were a bug. Oh, she's so good at it.
Look, I am, as we said, yes, we do all have to agree on these. And I am fully on board. I bow to your expertise in the world of dames.
I bullied you.
Paget. You did. You bullied me. You bullied me like Helen Mark bully you on that show they do. But it sounds like, by the way, in my writing my list of dames, I only got as far as Maggie because then we started talking. So I don't even have to circle one. Dame Diana Rigg. Oh yeah,
but she is not the winner. The winner is Dame. There's nothing in this world like a dame. Nothing in this world.
True.
And the greatest dame of them all is Dame Maggie Smith. Asked and answered, and that does it. We have cleaned the slate here now in front of this international audience.
Yes. Thank you, Paget, so much for coming and joining us for this show. This was a real treat, and it always is when you're here.
Thanks, guys. I'm crazy about you. I love you.
We love you back.
Love you too.
These topics are closed, but there are many more topics to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets, or
email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com, or go to our Facebook group. Talk about any and all of the decisions you've heard here today and things you want to hear us decide in the future. Facebook.com/groups/We Got This Podcast. Thank you, as always, to the people who make this show happen. Producer Ken Plume, who is the reason why we are streaming here. He made it all happen. Right. Researcher Kate McManus, graphic designer Uri Kelman, QA engineer Jen Alba, and thank you to everybody at the London Podcast Festival for helping facilitate all this, for bringing us over the pond virtually. We're so thrilled to be a part of your festival and to get to work with you. This is awesome.
Amen. And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, the people of the world, who now for 300 plus episodes have given us the opportunity to sit here with the people that we love and talk about the most important topics in the world. And this time we are doing it virtually, albeit, but in London. Come on. How amazing is that? And that would not be possible without everyone that has listened to the show and supported us along the way. And we thank you for Hal Lublin. I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody.
We got
this.